Okay, so thanks again to all the contributors. It means so much to me personally. And we're going to update 46 patch 2 preview release notes on Lamannia. Disclaimer, everything seen on the preview server, Lamannia, is not final and is subject to change or removal before live release. So this is all in the works, but it's on the test server. If you don't know, Lamannia is the test server. Anybody can go over there and play it. Anybody can. I think maybe you might have to be VIP or premium. You might not be able to go over there if you're free to play. I'm not sure about that, but there's nothing real super duper special that you have to be to, you don't have to be some, have special privilege to get over there. Pretty much anybody can get over there. You just have to download the Lamannia client. It's a different version of the game that you have to download to get over there. A separate client. And you can transfer your main characters over for free. It's not actually transfer, it's copying them. So you're not actually taking them off your main servers, you're just making a copy of them for over there. So you can play your main characters over there and try out new content and try out new features. You have special privilege? Oh. Yeah, I'm not crazy about the new packs, but we're going to get to that. So hello all! A preview of Update 46 Patch 2 is open. It is expected to remain open until sometime in the late afternoon Eastern Time of Thursday, May 31st. That's tomorrow. Yeah. Not open for very long. Let's see. This preview contains the following features: random loot revamp and new Warlock packs. In addition to these primary features, it also contains the following miscellaneous changes and bug fixes. Character. Alchemist spellbooks are now retained on lesser reincarnation like wizards and artificers. Hey, Unsinful. Yeah, lots of fun things. Totally. Epic Destinies. Divine Crusader confront any foe. Now properly enforces its 2-second cooldown. Druid. Nature's Protector Killer Instinct visual marks no longer obscured by the body of the bear. The feat Slicing Blows has been changed to the following. I'm not going to read it all. Apparently there's some changes to Slicing Blow. Panacea and Panacea Poultice will once more heal hit point damage. Warlock Hurl through Heck. Let's hope they're not actually changing the name. They just wrote Heck because the word Hell gets asterisked out when you type it in the forums. Hurl through Hell and Create Thrall have had their base DC changed from 10 to 15. The insightful bonus to stunning DC granted by Divine Might now are correctly typed as insightful. Ranger, Deepwood Stalker, Heavy Draw will no longer... Heavy Draw sounds like something else. Will no longer erroneously apply an old penalty. Fighter Kensai. Keen Edge now works with hand wraps. Wizard, Palemaster Shroud of the Zombie has been changed to the following. I'm not going to read it all, but apparently there's some changes to Palemaster Shroud of the Zombie. Wizard, Palemaster Ascendant Shroud. The benefits to Shroud of the Zombie has been changed to the following. Okay, make sure you read that if you're into that. Maddie Gaming. Good evening and welcome. Items. Glass Shards. Item effect. Fixed an issue where glass shards wouldn't do damage because the attack was applying it too quickly. The heroic coat of the Traveler has had its armor class reduced from it doesn't say, it just says from to a more appropriate match. To more appropriately match other armors of its minimum level. Lame. If it's a reduction, that's lame. Come on. Diamonds of Festive Wisdom and Intelligence, no longer incorrectly spelled diamond. Sapphire of Crushing Waveguard and Globe of Imperial blood now enforce their proper minimum levels. I wonder if the globe of true Imperial blood had an issue. I don't think that one did. I guess that's just the heroic one. That's the globe of Imperial blood. But I never noticed that Crushing Waveguard had an issue with its minimum level being wonky. In any event. Quests. The Korthos landscape has had some cosmetic improvements. Now, if you're just tuning in, these are the update 46.2 patch preview notes. This is the Lamannia preview. This is on Lamannia right now. These changes are not live, and anything could happen between now and then. The Searing Heights landscape has had some cosmetic improvements. Slimes in the Sacred Bounty now spit acid occasionally. Fixed an issue with Assault on the Area of the Slave Lords, where if you clicked on the exit door, it would send you to the exit location from Temple of Elemental Evil. Multiple performance issues have been addressed in Soul Survivor. Yay. Hopefully that means end fight, because that end fight's a, bastard of enough. When it starts lagging out, come on. Fixed a bug that causes the named item reward chest not to spawn in Patriarch's Crypt. UI, strength scores in the triple digits no longer get cut off in the character sheet UI. Uncle Voodoo will never have to worry about that, because Uncle Voodoo will never have a stat score in the triple digits. Miscellaneous. Reaper Tree optimizations have been added, so certain actions like weapon swapping will be more efficient. Hopefully that means we don't get gear swapping lag due to stat recalculations. That's the way I'm reading it anyways. Text that still pointed players toward the Hall of Heroes to find Gatekeeper NPCs have been updated. There is now a general vendor in the Gatekeeper's Grove. Thumbs up. Gatekeeper's Grove is now a destination for standard teleport. 2 thumbs up! Yay! The map in Gatekeeper Grove is now larger and has a prettier border. Cool. Yeah, that they needed to make that larger. That was one thing, and it was just seemed so, not room for anything more in there. Oh, apparently the font of the strength score was bigger than every other stat or something. I didn't know that. Some NPCs in the marketplace that would jostle players are now ethereal. Auburn the Argonessan now says his action dialogue at the correct time. Doors that are breakable with melee strikes can now be broken with ranged attacks. Convenient. UI skinning has returned to DDO. Visit that page for developer utilities. Cool. Thank you, Gijo. I appreciate you. Random loot revamp. Doo -doo -doo -doo. Remember, sound effects not included. You have to provide your own. But we do provide them here. Disclaimer, everything seen on preview server Lamannia is not final and subject to change or removal before live release. The random loot system has improved. Common enchantments. Several new and returning single enchantments have returned to certain random loot options, and several less usable or bugged options, such as damaging guards, yes, have been removed from their drop tables. Cool. Maybe they'll bring back what's UI skinning? That's it means like this stuff. You can add like skins to change like the colors and the just sort of to change like the way the look is of the UI, the user interface. That's what UI stands for, is user interface. So all this stuff. And so people can create like custom skins and stuff like that. We used to have that years ago, and I never used them, but I didn't even realize it wasn't a thing anymore. But apparently it wasn't a thing, and now it's back. So maybe people will be making custom skins again. You know, you get some interesting looks going on. That's why if you look at some people's videos, their UI looks really different. I mean, and that's separate from the fact that, you know, if you look at particularly old videos from like 7+ years ago, the UI was different back then for everybody, but you can look at some people's videos, you can see they have different skins. Okay, so maybe, I was saying earlier, maybe they'll add spell absorption back. Okay? See, for you kids that didn't know, after Menace of the Underdark was released, for maybe 6 months or so, spell absorption was a randomly generated effect that could appear on armor and shields. So I want to show you an example of that. Check this out. I still have an old shield that I just can't let go because it's just such a relic that I just like to look at once in a while. Here it is. Look at that. 5 charges of spell absorption. This used to be my endgame shield back when the level cap was like 25. A randomly generated, I put Festival Glaciation 120, which was very high glaciation for back then, for level 25. Spell Resistance 35, that was a meaningful amount of spell resistance when the level cap was 25. At Lightning Lore, I wanted, so bad I wanted exactly this, but with cold lore on it. And 13% lore was a good amount back then, back in the olden days. These aren't even really the olden days. You know, these are just like, you know, the old school days. Not in the glory days or the golden era or, you know, whatever. You know, this is 2012, early 2013. Spell absorption is still very important in this game. Very, very important. Okay. But it's of spellproofing, and they had heroic versions that were called of warding, and the heroic versions of warding did not have the spell absorption, but it had pretty good spell resistance on it. It had like resistance and spell resistance. It was pretty cool. They were pretty cool. I don't have one of those to show you, but yeah, I mean, what a fascinating old school piece of loot. This was randomly generated loot at one time. The Silver Age. The Bronze Age. In the Bronze Age of DDO. But yeah, spell absorption is so important. I mean, you know, look, I've got the Mage Star, right? One of the most important pieces for Epic, 26 and up, 10 charges, right? Pale Lavender Ioun Stone, huge, you know, one of the most important pieces. You know, that's level 5, so important. The Jeweled Cloak, Epic Elite, or Heroic for the Elite version. Mantle the World Shaper. Do we have any others? Let's look. We should. No, maybe that's all I have on this tune. I do have an epic Fjarlin Mirror Cloak even. That's, you know, that's something you know, kind of got to go out of your way for. You don't necessarily have to have. But I would definitely recommend that you at least have at endgame, you at least have a Mage Star and a Pale Lavender Ioun Stone and an Epic Elite Jeweled Cloak and your Mantle of the World Shaper. I would at least recommend those 4. If you really wanted to go all out, you could get the gauntlets out of Too Hot to Handle. You could get Epic Fjarlin Mirror Cloak that has 5 more charges. I'm going to go ahead and stick that there. Spell absorption is so important. When you see a Famine Reaper or a Vengeance Reaper, that is the first thing that you should do, is put on your spell absorption so that you do not get one shot by a Horde wilting or something nasty like that. In fact, I would say that spell absorption is now more important than ever. Yep. Okay. Where were we? Release notes. We were talking about update 46 patch 2 random loot revamp. Rare special prefixes. 90 new and returning special enchantments have returned to random loot. These special enchantments contain a 3rd or 4th if the item is above level 10. That's pretty sick, because now above level 10, 4 randomly generated properties plus a slot, potentially 2 slots because they're bringing back double slotted items. That can get pretty sick. We could get some really nice randomly generated loot again. bringing the maximum number of enchantments of random loot items to 4. For example, the below is now a possible rare random loot drop, Champion's Boots of Parrying. So it's probably the Champion's Boots, which is going to mean speed and combat mastery, and then of parrying could be added, so you could have probably Champion's Boots of Dexterity, Champion's Boots of some cool shit, So I'm guessing Champion's Boots means combat mastery and speed, and then the parrying and insightful fortification are examples of the extra stuff that can be on Champion's Boots. I'm just guessing that that's how it's going to work. For certain, and that's a rare thing. The Champion's Boots is a rare drop. A rare random loot drop. These special prefixes will display a teal border on the item to help them visually contrast with other random loot. Teal borders are now reserved for items with a rare special prefix enchantment, and as a result, items that have rolled higher in terms of in item quality. Masterful Crafts. That says Masterful Crafts Mono. Masterful Crafts Mono no longer display the teal border. But that was probably supposed to say Masterful Craftsmanship. Maybe that's was the Italian. That got copy and pasted from the maybe the Italian release notes. Masterful Crafts Mono. I don't know. Casting quarterstaffs are back. Wow. That's cool. See, that was another thing. Update, or when the level cap went to 25, Menace of the Underdark, we had these special thaumaturgy staves or whatever, and now they're bringing them back. And they were really cool back then. There were some really cool staves back then. Staves were a thing. Staves are starting to become a thing again at various points in DDO's history. Staves were a thing. Then dual-wielding caster sticks were a thing, and then staves were a thing again, then dual-wielding... it's the ebb and flow of DDO. But quarterstaffs are back. Thaumaturgic quarterstaffs of magical mastery. They can have... Okay, so caster quarterstaffs have their own set of random loot adjustments and special enchantments, aiming to make using a quarterstaff as a spellcaster more of an attractive option. The maximum number of enchantments on a caster quarterstaff is now 6, up from 3. Wow. For example, the below is now a possible rare random loot quarterstaff drop. Thaumaturgic quarterstaff of magical mastery. Potency, combustion, radiance, fire lore, transmutation focus, and spell penetration all on one staff. Yes. That's pretty cool. Minimum level of loot. When you open chests, in content, or complete quests, the level of random loot you roll will now exactly match the instance level of the content you are completing. For example, if you are in a level 3 dungeon on Elite, you will get level 5 loot and no higher. Minimum items and effects that previously increased the minimum level of random loot, such as the Greater Dragon Mark of Finding, now increases the quality of that random loot instead. Jewels of Fortune are no longer available in-game and in the DDO store, and in their place where they were available in-game, you will find treasure hunters' elixirs of the same magnitude instead. Unused Jewels of Fortune can be traded in for 2 of the same magnitude treasure hunter elixir in House Caneth crafting hall. In the same place, you can trade in spare tomes for dragon shard fragments. Currently consumed Jewels of Fortune will provide the same effect as an equivalent rarity of treasure hunter's elixir when this patch goes live. If you don't know what that's referring to, I will show you. In the crafting hall, there is a gal. And she's on your guild ship, crafting hall 2. Here it's Janice DeCaneth, and you can talk to her and you can say, I would like to trade essences. Okay. And when you tell Janice that you'd like to trade essences, this barter window comes up, and you can trade your old essences for new essences. You can also trade unwanted tomes, up to +5 stat tomes and up to +5 skill tomes for purified Eberron dragon shards that are used for crafting. So if you have like a bound to account tome or bound to character tome that you just can't use because that character already has that, that bonus, then you can just change it here. So apparently you're going to be able to take Jewels of Fortune and stick them in there, and it's going to spit out some treasure hunter elixirs. Let's just see if maybe that's already in here. I think I have some Jewels of Fortune. Okay, maybe not. I thought I did. I guess I just have the other thingy dingies. Anyways, that is where you can trade them. Hell yeah. I love hearing when people get little tips like that from the live stream. I appreciate you saying. Yep, you just go there and say, I would like to trade essences, and you drag the unwanted tomes over there, and you're going to get some purified Eberron dragon shards that you can be used for crafting. Yep. I love it when people get little stuff like that from watching my videos and streams. And I love hearing it. Makes me want to keep doing it. Right? And it reminds me, too, that these little things I got to remember to say, because whenever I talk about the little things, there's always people like, wow, I didn't know that. Because there's no instruction booklet for this damn game. You can't read through and go, okay, here's how I do these things, right? There's no instruction booklet. How are you going to know these things? You know, there's crap that, people didn't know for years, like basic stuff. That you just, one day, you're like, oh my god, I didn't know that. I still have those moments. Okay. Yeah, so you will get to that point for sure. Hey, bud. Thanks for gifting a couple subs to Neo Cortex and 2 Cats Yelling. Neo Cortex and 2 Cats Yelling just got gifted subs from Budley Allen. Do. Okay, where are we at? Augment slots. Items found in random loot now have a small chance to drop with a second augment slot. Okay. That used to be a thing, and then very quietly they took that out of the loot tables about a year before the new Kenneth crafting system went online. But I'm going to show you some examples if you didn't know. Look at that delicious thing there. See, that's an old school randomly generated item that I disjuncted to make a crafting blank out of it that had 2 slots on it. That is a very, very, very valuable ring, but its value is going to plummet and turn to basically nothing because they're coming back. But these have been out of the loot tables for approximately 6 years, so very, very hard to come by. But it's coming back, so, if you're looking to dump your dual-slotted things, do it now, but who knows what the new things will be, and who knows if it's going to be yellow and colorless, because before, in the olden days, if it dropped with 2 slots, it was always yellow and colorless. Hopefully we'll see, and that was only accessories. We did not have armor and shields with 2 slots, so maybe they'll do that. That would be super cool. We did not have weapons with 2 slots either, so that would be really cool as well, but yeah. That is a really level 15, Constitution 8, False Life 29, and stuff was Sheltering 9 with 2 delicious slots. Isn't that yummy? Yeah. So that's awesome. Material types. Armor and shields can once again drop with alternate material types: adamantine, flame touched, and mithril. Mithril shields and mithril armor is back. That is super, super cool. As well as a new armor/shield material type, silver, which grants a save bonus against the undead. Wow, that's cool. Armors and shields with alternate material types will retain these types when keyed for crafting, crafting just like weapons do. In other words, when you disjunct them and turn them into crafting blanks, they will retain those metal types. Certain weapons in random loot, quarterstaffs, crossbows, clubs, and great clubs, can now drop with non-standard material types such as adamantine or silver. Cool. Hell yeah. Goblin Sean is enthusiastic. That kid's got enthusiasm right there. He's enthusiastic. How to preview. For this Lamannia preview, there is a special challenge dungeon that can be accessed from the test dojo located just to the right of the center island. That can be entered at any level from 1 to 30. That simply contains a huge stockpile of treasure chests. Alternatively, you can run dungeons naturally. However, if you want to generate a large number of random loot, the fastest means of doing that will be the special treasure stash challenge dungeon in the test dojo. I guess there's a dungeon that just has tons of chests in it. That's fun. That you can just open up and look to see what you get. For those of you who want instant gratification, try Challenge Dungeon. Yes, special challenge dungeon. Now coming to Lamannia preview server. That reminds me, I want to thank this hour's sponsor, Vintage Pac-Man Drinking Glass. When Uncle Voodoo wants to drink, he doesn't just reach for any glass, he reaches for Vintage Pac-Man Drinking Glass. Vintage Pac-Man Drinking Glass. You can too. It's not true, I don't have any sponsors, but I'd like some. You see, when I make it big and the sponsors are watching this channel, they're going to be like, they're going to see me do that, and they're going to be like, that guy knows how to sell a product. Give him that Nike contract. And then I'm going to be wearing a Nike jacket on the live stream. And then you guys are going to be like, Voodoo sold out. He used to be cool. And then he got all popular. And he's nothing but a sellout now. Okay, we're not done. Because we got new Warlock packs, kids. Yay! Disclaimer, everything seen on the preview server Lamannia is not final and subject to change or removal before live release. Overview, Update 46 Patch 2 is expected to include 3 new Warlock Pact options. These options will be in addition to the packs that are currently available, Fiend, Great Old One, and Fae, and follow the same structure as the other packs. These new options are Celestial, Abyss, and Carcery Storm. I don't know that word. I don't know what Carcery is. Is that sorcery? Did somebody misspell sorcery? It's sorcery. We got some sorcery going on here. I don't know what that is. Carcery? Carcery? Sarkery? I don't know that word. But we can figure out what it means. You know how we can do that? We can well, I could do is Google search, but I don't know what it means. Maybe it's a bad word. Let's just do it on the other screen. There's not even a little thing I can click on to have it sounded out. This is Italian for prisons. It may refer to a Dutch death metal band. It's a bunch of Jabberwocky. Based on my experience, how long does this go live? Oh, this will probably be live a couple weeks, I would think. Quite possibly by the end of May. I'm surprised they didn't preview any of this. No, that's not true. Yeah, well, yeah, they did not preview any of this to the Players Council. I am on the Players Council. They did mention to us that they were thinking about doing a random loot overhaul some months ago, and I was like, yawn. You know, I said I'd rather see, you know, you redo the, you know, the augment system or something if you're going to spend time doing something like that. But, you know, oh geez, what do I know about knowing stuff? In any event, I'm enthusiastic. You know, even though I wasn't at the time when I was on the Players Council, now that I've seen what they're actually going to do, because they didn't tell us what they were actually going to do. Or not, you know, not as much as they are now. I'm enthusiastic. This kid's got enthusiasm. Oh, here's Forgotten Realms Fandom.com wiki. What does that say? The Tartarian depths of Carcery, pronounced Carcery. Okay, so it's Carcery. Also known as Tartarus, was an outer plane in the Great Wheel cosmology model, representing alignments between chaotic evil and neutral evil, situated between Hades and the Abyss. Tartarus was a plane of contention between the warring demons and devils, but few of those interlopers would challenge the native Demodans. Okay. How to access. Simply create a level 1 Warlock and select one of the new Pact feat options. Okay. So, Celestial Pact. Description. Your patron is a divine celestial patron of those who wish to devote themselves to an unconventional method of worship. You will learn to channel the light and air around you into a righteous weapon and utilize holy abilities to help your friends and pass judgment upon your enemies. Pact dice element electric. You have an electric warlock. Pact save bonus will. Alignment restriction. You must be good to take this pact. Bonus spells, level 1, Bless, level 2, Soundburst, level 3, Magic Circle against Evil, level 4, Prayer, level 5, Holy Aura, level 6, Freedom of Movement. Freedom of Movement's cool, but I don't like this. You know, Soundburst is cool. Give me another offensive spell, please. I mean, come on. You know, you might be thinking Holy Aura. Doesn't Holy Aura... Doesn't Holy Aura have a blinding effect? Let's take a look. DDO. Holy Aura. I'm using the magic of the internet on my second screen, by the way. Words, creatures, allies with +4 deflection bonus to AC, useless. +4 resistance bonus to save, useless. And immunity to enchant and charm spells, blinds nearby enemies on a failed fortitude save. Okay, so a blind... You know, by the time you get to that level, +4 resistance to saves and +4 deflection bonus to AC is pointless. Immunity, enchant, and charm spells, okay, that's cool. But blinds nearby enemies on a failed fortitude save. Bug. Holy Aura checks spell resistance, allies, preventing your allies from getting the beneficial parts of this spell. Okay, so blinding effect is kind of cool. Something just happened. Red Rider just subbed for 1 month. Thank you so much. Are you a Tom Cochran fan? Are you Tom Cochran? Life is a highway. Lunatic Fringe. Welcome to the Lunatic Fringe. That's probably what my maybe my live stream should have been. Yeah, so I'm not crazy about that spell selection. I would like to see another offensive thingy-dingy. How about a healing spell? That would be cool. That would be so cool. Wouldn't it? Give me Cure Critical Wounds in there. Okay, get rid of Bless and do Soundburst, Magic Circle, Prayer, Cure Critical Wounds, Holy Aura, freedom movement. That would be awesome. Wouldn't that be cool? It sure would, Uncle Voodoo. I know, right? I'm going to make that suggestion. Did you know that when Warlocks were first being previewed on Lamannia before they went live, they had a Cure Moderate Wounds SLA. The Enlightened Spirit had a Cure Moderate Wounds SLA, and I was like, oh, this is so great. I was so excited because I was like, oh, I can be a support healer, you know, because I love playing healers, right? And I mean, I wasn't gonna be a true healer, but I could do some support healing with that. That'd be so cool. But then they took it out, and now Uncle Voodoo was sad. Okay, special abilities. Warlock level 6 special ability. Celestial Attunement, plus 5 PRR and plus 1 to all saves. Okay. Warlock level 15 special ability. Ameliorate. Attempt to obliterate an undead or severely weaken any non-undead foe. Undead must succeed a will save versus DC 15 plus Warlock level plus Charisma modifier. This is hurl through hell for an undead only. Undead who fail to save, or enemies who are not undead instead are terrorized and have their magical resistance rating reduced by 10 for 10 seconds. 6 seconds. Since you can hurl through hell and undead, what's my incentive to take this over the Fiend Pact? Really, what's my incentive to take this over the Fiend Pact? I don't know. Okay. The Abyss Pact. Description: your patron is of the Abyss, a pit of darkness beyond comprehension, a desire and hunger beyond meaning itself. Tread carefully. If you hurl an undead for hell, you're just like sending it home. You're like, hey, you look tired. Let me just send you home. Don't you want to go home? Are you too good for your home? Happy Gilmore. Base info. Pact damage element negative. Pact save bonus. Fortitude. Alignment restrictions. You must not be good to take this pact. Bonus spells. Mage armor. Spawn screen. Halt undead. Death aura. Symbol of pain. Energy drain. I need an offensive spell. Come on. Just go home. Are you too good for your home? I really feel like I need an offensive spell here. Sell this to me, please. Because you're not selling it to me. Warlock level 6 special ability, Unhallowed Flesh, plus 5 PRR and plus 5 MRR. That's pretty cool. Warlock level 15 special ability, Channel the Abyss, shroud yourself in the Abyss, which will grant you unholy power at a cost. You have plus 100% critical hit resistance, are healed by negative energy, take 50% healing from positive energy, and take double damage from light. You are considered undead rather than your original type for purposes of most effects. Okay, so you're not really going to have a whole lot of ways to heal yourself. You get the death aura, but I don't know. What am I missing? Why do I want that? I don't even know. It's like Pale Master, but not as good. I don't know. But again, what do I know about knowing stuff? Description for the Carcery Storm Pact. Your patron is a demonic entity from the realm of Carcery, otherwise known as Tartarus. The bitter cold and freezing winds will chill you to your bones, but if you can master the power granted to you, great things will surely come your way. I thought for sure they were gonna do the Raven Queen for cold, because I remember quite a while ago, somebody said they wanted to do that. But I was talking about the lack of offensive spells in the first two. Here we go. Pact damage dice, cold. Pact save bonus, reflex. Alignment restrictions, none. Bonus spells, first level, Merfolk's Blessing. Lame. Gust of Wind, that's helpful. Gust of Wind blows out persistent AoEs. Firewalls, dancing balls, and the like. Sleet storms, cloud spells. Gust of Wind, very, very useful spell. Huh? Those acid clouds at the end fight of, Invitation to Dinner, and the other one to do the acid, that drains all your con. You can blow those out with Gust of Wind, which means, get some scrolls if you can't cast it, or get yourself a Brine Shaman staff out of Three Barrel Cove. Heroic Three Barrel Cove has got 3 charges that recharge every 30 seconds. Totally awesome item. Sleet Storm, I'm going to have to make a comment because Warlocks already get Sleet Storm. Why do I need it as the bonus spell? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. So let's change that out. If you want to do offensive, you go Snowball Swarm. But Ice Storm, Nyax Biting Cold, and Greater Creeping Cold. There's 2 cold dots right there. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I don't know about Nyax Biting Cold. Let me see something here. DDO, Nyax Biting Cold. I don't know if there's a save associated with that. Range, target, saving throw, none. Okay, so they got both. Those are 2 dots. 2 cold dots. That's pretty awesome. I wonder why they just didn't give them Creeping Cold and Greater Creeping Cold. They gave them both Nyax and Greater Creeping Cold. That's interesting. Nyax will stack, Greater Creeping Cold doesn't. And all the people who are going to want to play this, who aren't used to playing Druids, are going to have a real hard time getting used to Greater Creeping Cold, because I'm going to emphasize this, as I always do whenever I do my Druid video series. When it comes to the Creeping Colds, you want to make sure that you do not try to stack them up, that you do not try to overwrite them. You can stack Creeping Cold with Greater Creeping Cold, but you do not want to try to stack up Greater Creeping Colds on top of each other, like overwriting your own. Because whereas traditional Divine and Arcane dots like Nyax Biting Cold, or like, Elidar's Electric Surge, or whatever the other dots are, Divine Punishment, etc., you do want to stack those up, right? You do want to cast them before they expire so it stacks 3 times and you get the biggest damage out of it, right? But Greater Creeping Cold doesn't act like that. It is a dot, but it is a backloaded dot, and the damage ramps up on its own. It ticks, let's say, 6 times, and it has 2 that are like the low tier tick, and then 2 that are the medium tier tick, and then 2 are the top tier tick. If you cast Greater Creeping Cold or Creeping Cold before it expires, you overwrite that biggest damage and you reset it. So you want to make sure, do not cast Creeping Cold or Greater Creeping Cold before those expire on the mobs. Very important, because if you do, you're throwing away your biggest damage. It's very different than traditional dots. So here with this pact, the Nyax, you're going to want to remember, okay, I want to triple stack that. But the Greater Creeping Cold, you're going to remember, okay, I don't want to overwrite that. You can throw both Nyax and Greater Creeping Cold on the same mob, but let your Greater Creeping Cold expire before you recast it. If you recast it before it expires, you are just throwing away your biggest damage. Good night, Goblin Sean. Thanks for stopping in. So that's some nice cold stuff going on there. Warlock level 6 special ability, Frozen Footsteps, 10% cold absorption. Warlock level 15 special ability, Absolute Zero, Attempt to Lie. I knew this was going to be it too. This is just like the frozen thingy dingy from the tier 5 or 6 or whatever of the cold sork. Attempt to lock a single enemy in ice permanently. Enemies must succeed on a will save. DC 15 plus warlock level plus charisma modifier. That's a will save. That's a tougher sell than like a reflex save. Seems like that should be reflex save, huh? I mean, the Pact save bonus is reflex. It'd be nice if that was reflex. Or be forever trapped in solid ice. Enemies made of fire will instead be destroyed with no save. Wow, that's exciting. Does not affect bosses. Guess what? When the sorcerer one first came out, it affected bosses. You didn't hear that from me. I'm just saying, you know, try it. Maybe it'll work. So that's pretty cool. I like the Carcery Storm, and we learned together that it was pronounced Carcery. Currently known bugs none. So that's it, folks. That is the Update 46 Patch 2 Lamannia release notes in their entirety. So I think the other packs need some work. Because this, I am not enthusiastic about this at all. I need more in these spells. And you know, like I said, Sleet Storm, that's got to change because they already get Sleet Storm. I use it on Voodoo. And then up here, I need... You know, somebody already suggested, like, you know, maybe like a Sunburst. I don't know, maybe like a 401k or some sort of profit sharing might, you know, sell this a little bit better. You know, I'm just looking at that. It's a bunch of buffs. It's a bunch of buffs. Soundburst isn't a buff. Okay. Holy Aura has a blinding effect. Okay. But yeah, I think they got to get rid of Bless and put something else in there. I like Magic Circle. Prayer, they could get rid of Prayer. Or put Prayer as the first level. Put Magic Circle as the first level. Prayer as the third. Whatever. I need something more. Freedom Movement as the highest one. I don't know. I feel like maybe that could be the 5th level one. The 6th level one should be something a little more appealing. I mean, Freedom of Movement is awesome. Y'all know, if you watch my videos, I am a big fan of Freedom of Movement. I think it's one of the most underappreciated buffs in this game. I know a lot of people use it, but there's a ton of people out there who don't, and even people who can cast it don't. They're like, I'm just using it when I need it. Well, when you need it is not when you want to think about casting it. It has a long duration. That's a buff you want to cast at the beginning of every dungeon with the rest of your buffs. It doesn't cost much mana. And it's going to protect you not only from slip sliding around in Grease and Sleet Storm, but also from mental compulsions like Hold Monster and Hold Person. That's huge. So important. Cast Freedom of Movement if you have the ability at the beginning of a dungeon. yeah, if you're only doing heroic, some of that stuff is not too great. So freedom of movement, really, it should be sooner than that. Yeah, not getting freedom of movement until 19. That's pretty lame. Yeah, they definitely need to get rid of Bless. Put Magic Circle in there instead. And then just get rid of Bless, move everything up, put something cooler in there for the 6th level spell. You know, like, Slay Living? That might be kind of cool. Slay Living? They probably, well, maybe that doesn't, I don't know. Whatever. Something needs to change there. And down here with the Abyss Pact, you know, Mage Armor, Spawn Screen, Halt Undead, Death Aura, Symbol of Pain, Energy Drain. I really think they need to get that, what is it, the negative energy burst? You know, it just seems like they should do negative energy burst. Get rid of the Symbol of Pain. What does that even do? Does anybody care? -4 penalty to attack rolls, skill checks, and saving throws for a duration of 30 seconds. Fortitude save negates the effect each time they pass through the symbol. You like that, Val? You like the Symbol of Pain? Maybe Mage Armor. Does Mage Armor even make sense? And we're just talking about the spell. We're not talking about like improved Mage Armor from the tree that gives you like 10% stacking AC. This is just like, Mage Armor's so lame. And why Energy Drain? I mean, I guess Energy Drain is good if you can couple that up with, you know, you got your Fingers of Death, you know, with regular spells, and you could have like that's actually kind of cool, because this would be a good pact for like a Soul Eater. The Energy Drain would be really nice. If you don't know that trick, that's an old school trick for when you don't have the greatest DCs for like your Finger of Death and your Destruction, and you know, when you're like a wizard or a sorcerer or a cleric or favorite soul, if your DCs for your insta kills aren't the greatest, you just throw energy drain at the mob first. And so you can just get in the habit of like energy drain first, then finger or destruction or whatever your insta kill is. Because energy drain is going to severely lower their saves. That's another tip for your uncle.